Friday, September 27th. Welcome to the Damon Brew Show, brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. And I'm just telling you right now, Nick Bosa, it's officially time to report for duty. Nick Bosa is a tremendous football player who has not had a tremendous year since the year he was named Defensive Player of the Year. And in that year, he was all day and night long special. Future Hall of Famer is how we were referring to him with the way that he played. Now, he has been good. He has not been bad. Nick Bosa shows up in ways that, Pro Football Talk and Pro Football Focus, when you read those graded scores, you're like, man, this guy does more than I assumed he did in a game. He creates pressures. He moves pockets. He usually dominates his matchup specifically. What needs to now happen is for Nick Bosa's performance to not be found in the nuance of an explanation of a Pro Football Focus score, but rather found on the football field with my own two eyes because Jacoby Brissett can't get up again because Nick Bosa is laying on top of him. That's the need. This week, Nick Bosa, I'm putting it on you. A lot of people are worried about Christian McCaffrey's. Hey, I'm not. I'm worried about Nick Bosa. A lot of people worried about Debo Kittle getting back in the mix. I'm not. I'm worried about Nick Bosa. Because if Nick Bosa gets right and plays right, this team gets right and plays right. What wins championships? Nick Bosa. Oh, no, excuse me. That's not the cliche. It's defense. And for this team's defense to work properly, in order for that secondary to not be overexposed with another team's speed because they're starting off on a slow foot this year, it would seem, it's this defensive line. And I'm going to tell you right now, Nick Bosa has an opportunity in front of him that is probably among the juicier opportunities he has ever had in the NFL. Nick Bosa has Caden Wallace at tackle this week. Caden Wallace was drafted out of Penn State. He's a rookie. He's a guard. And the New England Patriots are going to be starting him at left tackle. If I am Sorensen, if I'm Brandon Staley, that's the matchup I want. Hey, Leonard Floyd, I'm sure you should do well against that matchup too. Nick Bosa should have a 4 or 5 sack afternoon against a rookie starting out of position against him. So I hope that this team exploits that, chases that mismatch all over the line of scrimmage when they see it. And it is time. It's time for Nick Bosa to get right. Welcome to the Damon Brew Show. It's great to have you here. I hope you hit like and subscribe. We're proud now. We're over 24,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. That happened yesterday. Obviously, what happened with the A's at the Coliseum yesterday, incredibly sad afternoon in the Bay Area. It's been a dauber down football season for 49er fans ever since they rolled credits on Monday Night Football. Not a lot of things have gone well since then. And to be totally honest, not a lot of things have gone necessarily well this week for the 49ers. Yesterday was a day at practice that took its toll upon this team, and the defensive line, already thin, which even reinforces the point I'm making about Nick Bosa, got a little thinner. Jordan Elliott carted off the field with a foot injury. It wasn't a catastrophic injury. It is a Jordan Elliott will probably be back in a week or two level foot injury, but he's probably not available against the New England Patriots. We'll see if T.Y. McGill gets the practice squad call up, if Shaquille Brown is going to be the practice squad call up, and you might have to get them both up to have a healthy, fresh leg rotation coming in against a Patriots offensive line you better well damn take advantage of. Curtis Robinson. And this one hurts because Curtis Robinson is a guy who I think was about to step in for the stock is falling Devondre Campbell. Curtis Robinson is a guy who has only, I think, been held back by a lack of opportunity. When we saw him in the preseason, he was fantastic. Curtis Robinson looked like a really good middle linebacker understudy for Fred Warner. But you don't want Fred Warner getting hurt, obviously. So how is this guy going to hit the field? Devondre Campbell's taking his snaps. Well, Campbell's snaps have not been very good, so it really did feel like the door of opportunity was opening for Curtis Robinson. He went down yesterday with a knee injury where the cart wasn't just there for precaution, apparently. Apparently, it's a bad knee injury. Kyle Shanahan was not looking kindly upon the prospects of Curtis Robinson maybe playing again this year. Just got that from Kruger down at Levi's Stadium in our wake-up show. So that's not good. That's not good. It feels like the amount of not good that is stacking up against the Niners that is good is way out of whack so far this year. It is not good that there are so many early onset problems where early onset success was going to be one of the ways you got through a season. That absolutely gets harder the deeper you get into it. But here we are. The game that no one would have applied the phrase must win. The week that no one applies the phrase must win to. And the opponent. When we all got our brand new, fresh out the oven 49er season football schedules, not a single one of you circled that New England game as like, ooh, tough ticket. Not a single one of you put an L next to the New England Patriots. I really thought that 4-0 might have been out there for the 49ers. 3-1, probably more realistic, and anything can happen, especially early on in a year preseason, where the regular season has become the preseason. But, I can tell the people are depressed. I can tell people are worried. I can tell by the lack of the size of this audience today in this live chat right now that some people are just like, I've had enough 49er conversation. I need results, and I need good results. Well, I hope they got a good result for you this weekend. They should. Because here's some things that are finally starting to tip in the 49ers' favor. Hey, Ricky Pearsall could be cleared to play coming next week. Brandon Aiyuk has been around this team, taking enough reps in games and in training camp, or in practice, I should say. It's not called training camp anymore, Damon. It's practice now, to where he needs to be up to speed, and he should be up to speed. And his hands are hopefully up to speed, and his feet and his route running is back to where we expect it to be. I'm expecting a breakout game from Brandon Aiyuk. It is trending in the right direction that George Kittle plays Sunday against the New England Patriots. And Kruger just shared it is also trending in the direction that Debo could hit the field once again. These are game-changing, equation-changing additions to the 49ers, who have had a screwy equation so far. But they do get better with all of that happening. And the news on Christian McCaffrey coming back from Germany, and he is back, is good. Apparently, he's not still over there being operated on. So whatever procedure that Eric Branch in the San Francisco Chronicle was saying, he had just spoke to some, an orthopedic biologist. And the orthopedic biologist said that there is a treatment in Germany that he might be seeking, that if he does get the treatment, could have him gone for another 6 to 8 weeks. It does not appear that treatment was applied. So a couple of weeks away from returning to practice is how Shanahan tentatively framed Christian McCaffrey. I mean, good news. You can't even pretend that that's bad news. So a better football team seems to be arriving at SFO soon. And I hope it gets down to Santa Clara before the flights are no longer allowed to take off flying towards the playoffs. 1-3 is a million miles away from 2-2. I know it's only a 1-game difference, but it's a million miles away, especially for a team that is built to do something right here, right now. CJ is saying, man, Nick Bosa has just looked a little slow, a little stiff. To me, he hasn't looked a little impact. He's just been a little impactful. I don't need a little impact. He's not being paid, provide a little impact salary. He's got to be felt. He has got to be felt. He is getting held all the time. I mean, I will say that some of Nick Bosa's progress is being impeded by cheating. We're watching it. I'm going to tell you right now, if he is lined up most of the afternoon against an out-of-position rookie left tackle who's a guard, If that guy isn't called for holding 2-3 times, then there's something going on. There's something going on. Soon as Bosa got that big money, he not the same. Mario, you can say that about Brandon Aiyuk right now. Christian McCaffrey just got broken off. You could say it about him. You could say it about Trent Williams. I don't think that we need to worry that Nick Bosa is like dunzo. Just hasn't happened yet. And he is being held. And the other guys along this defensive line, like if you're unimpressed with Nick Bosa's season so far, how in God's name would you describe theirs? Malik Collins, be better. Leonard Floyd, be present and accounted for. Let me hear your name Sunday against the New England Patriots. I dare you. You got the right opponent in front of you for me to hear every single defensive lineman's name this weekend. So we better. We absolutely better. When you talk about, he was great when you weren't thinking about the amount of money he made, and then he got paid, and then the scrutiny went through the roof. That's going to really apply to Brock Purdy coming up. I mean, the scrutiny is already through the roof in a player who should be only seen as a sunny side up egg, but everyone's telling you, no, it's spoiled. It's again, we have too many people covering football who just don't even understand what they're looking at. Brock Purdy isn't just good. He's very good. We'll talk about whether or not the word greatness gets conferred onto him based on what happens in his career. We're too early for any of that. But when it comes to professional starts for quarterbacks and careers that are now underway, there are very few people who have broken out of the starting blocks better than Brock Purdy. And Larry, he shared something on Wake Up that I wanted to share with you because it is pretty impressive. Since Brock Purdy became the 49ers starter, which was week 14 of 2022, here are the quarterbacks and the amount of games where they've finished with a quarterback rating of 110 or better. Dak Prescott, 8 times. Lamar Jackson, 8 times. Patrick Mahomes, 4 times. Matthew Stafford, 4 times. Josh Allen, 4 times. Hurts, 4 times. Brock Purdy, 15 times. Since Brock Purdy starting games, he has had more passer ratings better than 110 than everyone in the league and most of them who you consider elite quarterbacks put together. Like, you can add Mahomes, Stafford, Allen, and Hurts together, and they only have one more game throwing a quarterback rating of 110 or better than Brock Purdy has. They collectively have 16. He has 15. This guy can play. And there's another reason why I think having some confidence in the Niners to get right this week is well placed. It's time for the 49ers to lean into the fact they got a really good coach. They got a really, really good quarterback. They got a running game that even without Christian McCaffrey still produces. They might not have the most explosive and electric offense, but when they get out, get a lead, and sit on it, they're really hard to beat. They do have a winning formula. They just need to find it early on in the game. I want an opening drive score from Kyle this weekend, and you should want that too. Because you know who won't be doing a lot of scoring? The New England Patriots. If the New England Patriots crack 20, I mean, we did say this last week against the St. Louis Rams, but they got Matthew Stafford. This is Jacoby Brissett. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Jacoby Brissett. I'm really not. He's Jacoby Brissett is provably a better quarterback than I am a broadcaster. There's no doubt. This guy's really good at what he does. Having said all that, he is also arguably the worst quarterback playing in the NFL as a starter this weekend who isn't going through some like rookie growing pains. If you want to say that Deshaun Watson has plummeted to be considered among the worst, I'd agree with you. But I think if I had to choose, like forgetting everything we know about them, you have to choose Deshaun Watson or Jacoby Brissett to be your quarterback to go win a football game. Like, if you had the first pick and you took Jacoby Brissett, I'd feel like, okay, good. I didn't have to pick Deshaun Watson. He got sent to me. But I think I got the better quarterback. He hasn't been good. I don't like him. He hasn't looked like it. But I truly think I got the more talented guy. I don't think that there is a less talented starting quarterback going. Gardner Minshew, you want to put it on him? You can maybe do that. By the way, it's Minshew versus Deshaun Watson this weekend in Las Vegas. Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's a better quarterback right now than Jacoby Brissett is. Let's be honest. The rest of everyone else, a better quarterback than Jacoby Brissett. Justin Fields, the weakest 3-0 quarterback out there, he's better than Jacoby Brissett. The 49ers should look at Jacoby Brissett, not think to themselves like, oh, free lunch. This ain't going to be anything to worry about, because you turn your back on him, he can take off. He is he absolutely fits the model of can't go broke taking a profit level quarterback. So beat him. It's just that simple. Beat him. Thanks for the reminder. I didn't see what that is. I clicked on the wrong thing. Sorry. I wanted to go to Gail Alonzo, who said, how can 49ers special teams get better? Well, this is a tough special teams to get better against, because the Patriots, that's one box they continue to check. Patriots are good on special teams. They remained well coached on special teams in their post-Belichickian lives that they're all living. How do you get better? You demand better. Guys, figure out how to tackle. Or you take the tackle out of the equation and have Wisnowski start kicking the ball out of bounds when he's punting. Kyle seems to be very much in the mode of this kickoff goes through the back of the end zone. He's not screwing around with hybrid kickoff nonsense. Look, Marcus Jones can take one to the house on you. Don't give him that opportunity. Antonio Gibson, JaMychal Hasty. Here's a name you should be a little familiar with. These are good. These are guys who can have good days against you on special teams. Don't let their best special teams players have good days against you. Kind of take their special teams out of the equation. Let's let Jake Moody off the hook for a week and not ask him to kick a 55-yarder. Get a little closer. Get more aggressive. And then when you're on the step of the door, the doorstep of the end zone, maybe don't settle for that field goal. Try to get into the end zone. Again, every field goal the 49ers kicks keeps the Patriots in this game more than it tips it in the 49ers' favor. It is a week to be aggressive. It is a week to take advantage of a clearly weaker opponent. And if the 49ers don't do it, they will deserve all the hand-wringing and the criticism that will come their way starting, directly at the 2-minute warning right here on Damon Bruce Plus. And I hope you plan on joining me. By the way, if you ever want to set a reminder for that studio is up on the YouTube page right now. You go and use your phone. You open up Damon Bruce Plus. You go over, you click to live upcoming shows. You can set a reminder in the studio that I'll be doing the 49ers Patriots post-game show from, but we go live at the 2-minute warning, and hopefully you plan on joining. Again, please like and subscribe to what we're doing. That really helps the show. Like this live stream right now. That helps this live stream grow. Please go ahead. Think about becoming a member. That's a great way to support the channel, but an outstanding way to support the channel is supporting my sponsors, which I'm going to tell you right now. Start with this guy right here. But you know what? That big cardboard cutout behind me doesn't tell you enough. That little face in the graphic doesn't tell you enough. Let's go right to the source. Let's go to Ike's webpage, ikessandwich.com, because right now, when you download that app, kids, when you download the Ike free sandwich app, you get a free sandwich. Okay? Can I interest you more than that? Download the Ike's app. Get a free sandwich. Are you in? Does it get any easier than that? Well, Damon, after I get my free sandwich, what do I get on that app? Well, you start earning your way towards more free sandwiches. And you see the little spin the bottle game that he's got down there? That spin the bottle can end up on discounted sandwiches. That can end up on free soda, free bag of chips, upgrade to a combo, all kinds of new bells and whistles in the new Ike's Rewards app. Download it anywhere you download your apps. Do it for me. Do it for your own belly. Do it for Ike. Support my sponsors and get yourself the most delicious sandwich you're going to have. Let me tell you about my friends at the Dubliner. It was awesome hanging out with them. We were there on Wednesday night. We were over on Wednesday night for the final night game at the Coliseum. Had a great time with the boys from the Dubliner. Thanks again for having me. By the way, it's appropriate that Dubliner would be up, and we're here looking at Sip of the Day. It's just a little too hot. I ran up in between this. We're not quite at Sip of the Day status, but we're on our way. The boys at the Dubliner got the Sip of the Day for you, just waiting on West Portal. Walk in there, get a perfectly poured Guinness, get yourself a great cocktail, get yourself a bar that you want to belly up to, few people around you want to be talking to, great TVs, great atmosphere, the lighting's right. Isn't that big in a bar? The lighting is right. Get yourself to the Dubliner. Indeed. So thanks so much for them. By the way, that helmet right there, Damon Bruce Pluce helmet, just got it customized for my friends at Green Gridiron. You can go into the description of this live stream right now. Click on that Green Gridiron link. Use promo code Damon to get yourself a customized helmet, a replica helmet, this 49ers helmet. They got mini helmets. Every single college team you could think of, they got it. They got the alternate helmet. They've got it all. It is the coolest customizable souvenir shop for helmets you're ever going to see in your life. Get yourself to Green Gridiron. I'm proud to be an affiliate with them. And thanks again for sponsoring the show. Thanks again for the super chats, which certainly go a long way to help make the show chug along. Joe Shaw putting $5 in the ganja jar. Damon, Spy Brissett, game over his whole game, extended to plays and cause confusion. If they trot Ronnie Bell out there, I'm going to jump out of a window. Look, I don't know why Ronnie Bell's still on the team. Kyle's got a belief that whatever he wants to see in him will be found in him. Haven't found it on the field, haven't put it on game tape. Ronnie Bell had trouble catching the football in every game I've seen Ronnie Bell play in. He's got butterfingers. He's not someone who walks around with elite speed. He's not someone who walks around with elite physical tendencies and the ability to run through dudes like Debo. He's just a guy who right now is a guy who doesn't catch the football when you throw it to him. I mean, I'm not rooting against Ronnie Bell, but I've seen enough to know that if you're rooting for Ronnie Bell, it feels like that ship has sailed. Who's rooting for Ronnie Bell at this point beyond the Niners front office to finally be like, hey, we got him right? What about Jacob Cowing? Did you get that right? Was the decision to sign a guy like Trent Taylor, was that a right decision? Because you did that too. Why don't you go to him? Why don't you go to them before you go back to Ronnie Bell to disappoint you one more freaking time? You know, Isaac Garendo. Give him more of an opportunity this week. You know, I saw somebody say, well, you know, Ronnie Bell's just, you know, taking up a roster spot until Ricky Pearsall gets here. Well, you got other guys who could take up that spot. It's not like that's all Ronnie does. There's got to be some standard applied to him that seems to be applied to other players, but continue to just, he gets a get out of jail free card all the time. You know, I heard that Ronnie's really wearing it. You can see it in practice. He talked about how it was, it meant a lot to him that Brock Purdy came up and supported him, talked to him in the locker room, says, I still believe in you and all that stuff. And all that stuff's great. Makes great copy. I don't want to read another story about how hard Ronnie Bell wants to get this right, as much as I just want to see any swinging dick catch a football when it gets thrown to him. I don't care who it is. Cooled down just a little. It's amazing what just a minute or two of temperature will do for the top of the sip. I think we're at sip of the day status. Congratulations, everybody. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, go fuck shit up. I mean, there's no other way to say it. You guys are the two biggest sledgehammers that this defense swings. Swing that sledgehammer, baby. Go get it done. Do not let the lid get taken off your defense on a team that does not have an awful lot of lid lifting talent. They don't have it. They don't have it. The kind of guys that make you go, how do we even run with him? How do we even keep up with that guy? If the 49ers, before their 1-3 start, before injuries, before everything that's gone wrong, were labeled as one of the most talented teams in all of football, obviously that's changed a little. The Patriots were evaluated as one of the least talented teams in all of football, and that hasn't changed at all. As a matter of fact, it's gotten worse. They're going to take a guard and start him at left tackle, who's a rookie this week, against Bosa or Floyd. Again, I don't care where Nick wants to line up. Go line up against the guy who you should absolutely de-pants all afternoon. So, Damon, is that a Maximum Football helmet?
Maximum Football!
It is awesome. It's such an awesome helmet. It really is. The guys at Green Gridiron did an incredible job. Incredible job. All right. So everything that happened at the Coliseum yesterday kind of sucked and was depressing, other than the fact that the team actually won. A little bit later on this afternoon, I'm taping an interview with Glen Kuiper. Glen Kuiper, of course, was, sitting and doing A's games for the better part of 2 decades before he said a word that's very hard for anyone to come back from. And, to me, I'm the type of person where words don't offend me. They don't. Words don't offend me. The intent of a word is the only thing that can offend me, and I really don't believe he intended to say the word. I don't believe he had any intention at all to say what he said. So a conversation with a guy who should be and should have been part of all the goodbyes in Oakland. I'm looking forward to talking to Glen and catching up. I've known him for a very, very long time, and I've known that he's a really good person for a really long time. So there's a little something to keep an eye out on while you're waiting for the 2-minute warning to arrive, and hopefully you plan on joining us there on Sunday. We got Michael Diaz saying, Damon, too many negatives this season. Started off with off-season drama, new defensive coordinator, injuries, many dropped game impact passes. They haven't lost a game where they lose playing good. Look, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. The most important, what do they say? The most important step in any journey is the first step. Okay. That's not where the 49ers are, though. The team that they need to be in December is still there. I really think that I think that the best of the 49ers is in front of them. We haven't already seen it. I think this is a bad, awkward, everything that could go wrong kind of is going wrong start. But I do think a leveling out of football norms, a market adjustment is coming. It's going to be nearly impossible for anyone to see a market adjustment at 1-3 with a home loss to the New England Patriots. Like, you lose at home to the New England Patriots. That's why this game's so big this weekend. You lose at home to the New England Patriots. There's no defending it. There is no explaining that away. There is no way to look at anything and pretend, yeah, it could all be put back together. But you beat the Patriots. You're 2-2. Everyone's going to calm down just a little. I mean, there are some people out there whose job it is to sell you panic at all times, but that's why you're over here. That's why you're listening to an adult who has covered the league for a better part of 2 decades. Thank you. Thank you for being here. By the way, on Monday, we will not be doing an 11 a.m. show on Monday next week because I'm going to be at Warriors Media Day. And we will be talking about a Golden State Warrior here in just a moment when we get to our days in history. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much time to get there right now. I mean, there's really nothing left to be said other than Nick Bosa. Go eat. Go eat well, like you're going to Ike's. Go eat. Get it done. Fred Warner. Guess what? Ramondre Stevens. He's had a little fumbleitis. You've been peanut punching and causing more fumbles since this season started than I've ever seen you do over a 3-game stretch in my life. Fred Warner, you got another fumble to go get? You got the right guy coming into town to do it, and they are going to let him carry the ball 35 times. I mean, an awful lot of Ramondre Stevenson coming at you this weekend if you're a 49er fan. Create a fumble. I almost want to say it again. Watch for the Patriots to try to steal a possession. As they're sitting there measuring what they're good at against what the 49ers are bad at, I guarantee you that special teams phone rang. Joji, Damon, if the Niners part way with Kyle, will the Niners go after Belichick or Carroll? They're not parting ways with Kyle Shanahan. I'll take it a step further. The 49ers could have a losing season this year. They're not parting ways with Kyle Shanahan. Any talk of hot seat means you're reading the wrong article. You are watching the wrong person. The only people talking about hot seats for Kyle Shanahan are people who are looking at tension for their own careers. There is no hot seat for Kyle Shanahan. You don't get to go to 4 out of 5 NFC championship games, have an off year, and get fired. That's not happening. So everyone needs to just disconnect from that. You are untethered to reality if you think that Kyle Shanahan is sitting on a hot seat. He's not. '49ers need to win 1-4 with the Cardinals coming in. Then it's the Seahawks. And yeah, again, you got to get to 2-2. I did not expect week 4 against the Patriots to loom large, but it's looming large. Looming large. East Bay Ricardo, Falcon punched like that button. Thank you. Thank you very much, East Bay Ricardo. Cheers. Damon loved the Kuipers. Dude, the Kuipers are good boys. They are. I also love Banjo Man. I love Banjo Man too. I like Banjo Man. Some people, they see Banjo Man coming in their section, their eyes start rolling. Not me. I love Banjo Man. Banjo Man's my kind of guy. Do they let him walk around Levi's, or do they try to charge him an arm and a leg for season tickets too? That Let's Go Oakland chant was freaking awesome yesterday. I don't think it's the last one we're ever going to hear. I really don't. I still think there's a very good chance that opening day next year is at the Coliseum. And we'll see what Glenn thinks about that too a little bit later on today. We'll turn that video around for you this weekend. Violent asking a Violent XRP, Jordan Elliott done or right now is or. It's an or. He's not done. He hurt his foot. I don't think he plays this weekend, but his career's not over. His season's not over. Where unfortunately the news on Curtis Robinson getting carted off yesterday, Kyle said that the knee is bad, so that could be his season, and that would suck. Rockin' new era. Fisher has a high chance of fucking shit up from what his track record has done. Again, track records and reputations matter. The reason why you distrust John Fisher to accomplish anything is the reason I trust Kyle Shanahan to correct what feels like a season that has started off with a lot of errors. I think they can get through it. I know Larry right now is really down on the speed and the secondary and the talent. When just a month ago we were talking about how the 49ers had one of the most talented teams in football. I don't think it changes that much in 3 weeks. I certainly hope it doesn't. I think the convoluted, not very fun offseason has sauntered into the regular season. It's an unwelcome house guest, and hopefully a good performance against the New England Patriots gets this shitty party crasher that is all this bad news finally out of the season, and it's time to go play some football, some Niners football, which means you come out with the right game plan, you score early, you score often, and you got a lead, and then you choke the game like a boa constrictor. That's when the Niners are at their best. I'd like to see it happen. Nothing finalized in Las Vegas, not a scotch. Go watch that video yesterday that I put up with JT the Brick, a little Brick and Bruce. Talked about the level of excitement for the A's coming to Las Vegas. There isn't any. As a matter of fact, it is a completely undiscussed topic that no one even brings up tangentially at the end of conversations because they're all out of shit to talk about. There is no demand, zero, for the A's in Oakland. Or excuse me, for the A's in Las Vegas. None. And again, why would there be? After 56, 57 years, John Fisher will give you this as your going away present. This is what he thinks of fans right here. It's all you need to know. You get a bookmark. 5+ decades. Here's your bookmark. It's everything you need to know. Right there. Except for these other things that you need to know because they're historical events, some things that happened. Are you ready for a little today in history? I do hope so. As always, we start with happy birthdays. Maybe this will be the inspiration that Kyle Shanahan needs. Hold on, wait. Before we get there, we break for Super Chats. Ricardo Rodriguez coming in right here, right now. Thank you very much. Ricardo, team is in the lost and found, and they need to find themselves collectively. Hopefully they do this Sunday. If this isn't a get-right game, I don't know what is. Ricardo, I could have submitted your super chat as my show today, and it would have summed it up perfectly. I agree with you right there. Little lost. Hopefully it's just, is it really lost or is it in the lost and found bin? And we just need to now find it in there. I think this lost season is in the lost and found bin. This is an opponent to get right against. Get right. Here it is. Fork in the, like Yogi Berra says, when there's a fork in the road, take it. When in doubt, I always get my football advice from tennis guys. DV Calc 1234 says, tennis guy here. Relax, fellow fans. NFL games are hard to win. Stuff happens. The 49ers are fine. I'm going to go eat at Ike's in Scottsdale. Cheers, Damon. Go eat at Ike's in Scottsdale. And if you haven't downloaded that app, do so. Because who knows? If you haven't done it before, you get a free sandwich. If you have done it, you can spin that wheel, see if you get a free bag of chips, free soda, free something. Earn your way towards free sandwiches with my man Ike. Get yourself to the Dubliner and West portal. And as I said, if there's any more motivation that the 49ers need, well, maybe Kyle Shanahan's favorite artist celebrating his 42nd birthday will put a little bounce in his step. Kyle Shanahan named his son Carter because that's Lil Wayne's name. Happy birthday, Lil Wayne. Hold on, I'm getting connected AirPods. Jillian put her AirPods in. Oh, I got to shut down the Bluetooth. Sorry, everybody. Hold on. Damn Bluetooth. off. There we go. Road kept back. Are we back? We back, boys and girls? Good. Anyways, Jillian, love you. AirPods. I got to turn the Bluetooth. That's on me. It's on me. Lil Wayne, 42. 42 years old already. By the way, I saw Lil Wayne at a taping of the Colbert Show. He was the musical artist, and he 100% lives up to his billing. He is teeny, tiny little human. Teeny, tiny human. He's freaking adorable. Like, Lil Wayne is the kind of guy that you want to, pick up and put in your backpack and bring him home with you. He's adorable. By the way, I read a pretty interesting article this week about how one of the biggest music formats that is actually growing, because nobody goes to the radio to listen to radio anymore. We all got our podcasts. You got Sirius. You got specific things. This is why radio is, in trouble as a medium. People used to go to the radio almost first to get their music. Now it feels like the radio has gone to almost last to get your music. You got playlists. You got downloads. You got all sorts of things. One of the growing formats, though, in radio is classic hip hop and classic rap, because rap is now officially old enough to have its classic level. Rap in our lifetimes, it was invented in our lifetimes, and, it's rap is just, 50-ish years old, where they just did its whole celebrating their 40th hip hop thing or whatever. Rap is finally old enough to have like classic rock. Rock and roll has had like 4 or 5 different generations of classic rock and roll, because rock and roll's been around so long. What's nuts is that, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, that all qualifies as classic rock and roll now. So what you listened to in high school is now classic. This is happening with rap for the first time in its history. So that's one of the larger growing music formats there is. By the way, one of the best Sirius XM stations is LL Cool J's Rock the Bells. A fantastic Sirius station. I either got Grateful Dead radio, Fish radio, 80s or 90s, or there's a little yacht rock in there, I'm not going to lie. And Rock the Bells. Rock the Bells is fantastic. It's like bringing me back to freaking high school. Playing some like EPMD and shit. I love it. Anybody know what EPMD stands for? Anyone? Yeah, Dylan. He's like, well, when did Motley Crue become classic rock and roll? Yeah, when we got old. Anybody know? EPMD? Anybody? Eric Parrish making dollars? Come on now. Don't test me. Okay. Speaking of happy birthdays, I told you there would be a warrior involved in today's history lesson. Happy birthday, Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr turns 59 years old today. One of the best guys I have ever dealt with, ever met, not just in media or in sports, but in life. Steve Kerr he's a Boy Scout. Steve Kerr is one of the best people ever. And happy birthday, Steve Kerr. I hope Brandon Pajemski is better than Lowry Markkinen. I really do. Happy birthday to Gwyneth Paltrow. She turns 52 today. Go ahead and look at a current picture of Gwyneth Paltrow. Say whatever you want about her website with all of the moisturizer, whatever she's doing, it's working. Gwyneth Paltrow, freaking gorgeous still. Gwyneth looking good at 52. She's got a candle that apparently is reminiscent of her vagina. If that's what you're into, she'll sell it to you. It's a bold move, Gwyneth. By the way, thank you very much. You got to chill. Hell yeah. Strictly business. Postman at Capitola, always good to see him.
Oi!
Got your IG message, Damon. Thank you. By the way, you know, we're all a little goofy little family over here, and I think he's sharing it with here. Postman lost his father recently. And I did. I was told about it. Somebody made me aware of that, Postman, and I had to reach out to you on IG. I don't open up Instagram often at all, but I just happened to, and I'm glad I saw that message because I wanted to reach out. Celebrating my father tomorrow with friends and family in Hollister. Your show means a lot to me. Has helped me through these tough times and months. Love to you, man. Love right back at you. Love right back at you, Postman. You're good people, brother. And you don't be as good people you are without having an incredible father. What a shame I never got to meet him. And the apple has not fallen far from the tree. So here's to... So if you're the postman in Capitola, I'm going to call your father Mr. Postman. Here's to Mr. Postman. And absolutely celebrate him. May his memory be a blessing. Thank you very much to Gizmo. We lost D'Amico and Sala. We need another great DC. Let's figure it out, right? Let's get there before we say that. Because I remember when D'Amico Ryans took over, it was not exactly love at first sight. So let's wait. Let's wait. But I also hear you, Gizmo. Your point is not unfounded. By the way, absolutely love the love that Postman gets to see as he looks at this chat and you reacting to his news. This is why we roll together. This is why we assemble here. Our goofy little island of misfit toys that we put together over here on YouTube. It's not a host talking at you. It's a host talking with you. And it really is. It's the coolest medium I've ever been able to work on. So... thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting all of us. Again, takes a village. Happy birthday, born today in 1722, Samuel Adams from Boston. He's one of our founding fathers, and today he turns 302 years old. So congratulations to Sam. Don't slip and bust a hip. Let's see. What else actually happened today, though, that is historic beyond birthdays? Today in 1964, following the investigation into the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the Warren Commission today in 1964 released its findings. And if we had to go back and hand select the moments of times where confidence in government started to erode, that would be among them. Because that was a one-man working alone incident. That would be like me saying I have a team here behind me helping me put on this show. No, this is what one man working alone looks like. Here it is. This is it. There's more going on there. There's more going on. You go up to there's an excellent museum. Right there on the 6th floor of the School Book Depository in Dallas. You go up there and you take a look at just the window that the shot supposedly came out of, and you're like, nah, that ain't happening. Nah, that ain't happening. By the way, postman. Pops was a postman for a few years back in the 70s. Mr. Postman. I guess that makes you Postman Jr. Love you, buddy. Let's see. On a much lighter note, and, you know, we're talking about significant television shows. You got one right here. Today, in 1954, what would turn into The Tonight Show debuted. The landmark late evening talk show and variety program, The Tonight Show, premiered as Tonight! Exclamation on NBC, and it was originally hosted by Steve Allen. Steve Allen would turn into a guy who was playing pianos and singing about the Constitution on PBS. But for a minute there, Steve Allen was the host of The Tonight Show. Was it earlier this week or was it last week when I told you that the historical event that was happening on today in 1777 is when the British came in and ransacked Philadelphia and took over the nation's capital for a minute there? Well, so that must have just happened a day or two ago. That happened earlier this week. I told you about that because today in 1777, right after that happened. So, the frickin' British are coming. They're all, they're in Philadelphia like freaking cheese whiz. So what are you going to do? You got to move the U.S. Capitol somewhere else. So for a day, having fled Philadelphia, the Continental Congress had a session to discuss what the fuck is going on in the American Revolution over here. And for one day, Lancaster, Pennsylvania was the capital of the United States. So Lancaster had itself a hell of a day today in 1777. And there you go. There is your history. Please plan on joining me at the 2-minute warning of 49ers and Patriots. Please keep an eye out for a conversation with Glen Kuiper that I'm sure some will say, well, you shouldn't do that. That's uncomfortable. Hey, I'm not here to do anything other than have uncomfortable conversations. That's what this show should be about. Should be pulling back the curtain on things that others simply are afraid to address. This show is afraid of nothing, and hopefully that continues to bring you back here. And I appreciate you being here. I hope that makes you hit a like and subscribe. I hope you have considered becoming a member here of the Initiated. You are my kind of folks. Thank you for being here today, and I hope you have a great weekend. I really do. Talk to you on Sunday at the 2-minute warning of what damn well better be a win for the San Francisco 49ers. But until then, let me just remind you that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone.